everybody? Welcome back to the Sean War Show. I am Sean and I'm here with Oliver. He plays Spider-Man on the channel.
Hello everyone, how's it going?
Today we are talking about Spider-Man's love interest. I don't know if you know this, Oliver, but in the comics, Spider-Man gets around.
Spidey senses tingling.
Okay, so first off is Kitty Pryde from the X-Men. I didn't know this, but apparently they got together once. In the Ultimate Universe, Peter Parker and Mary Jane are on a temporary break from the relationship, and during that time, Peter rebounds with X-Men's Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat. So after one date at the mall, crime fighting, and a passionate kiss, he and Kitty start getting serious. But Kitty's a full-time member of the X-Men, and since Peter's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, the relationship takes its toll. They can't put the time into it, and they both call it quits. Peter and Mary Jane went on to try to work things out.
So it was just the one pact and that was it, right?
That's right. It's a one-time thing, and they have fond memories of each other. It's not weird between them though.
It's like a summer fling.
Yeah, exactly. But a brief summer fling. All right, next is Carol Danvers. Now this was weird to me at first, but Peter Parker, he did go on a date with Captain Marvel. They didn't become like intimate lovers, but they agreed to go out on one date. It was during an investigation where Carol needed dirt on Norman Osborn to take him down as the Green Goblin. Peter stepped in and he helped her. And then afterwards, Carol treated Peter to a fancy, expensive dinner, but the date was cut short. Because of course, crime never sleeps. After the battle, they sat on a rooftop together, ate chili dogs while looking out at the city. It's not a bad date idea, right?
I think it's pretty good, yeah.
You ever sat on a rooftop and ate chili dogs in your role as Spider-Man?
Every day.
Nice.
Every day.
So Betty Brant is next. Betty Brant, she met Peter Parker while she was J. Jonah Jameson's secretary at the Daily Bugle. The two of them were close colleagues, but then that developed into a friendship, and then that developed into more. However, Betty had distaste for Spider-Man since she blamed him for the death of her brother at the hands of Dr. Octopus. So it's a little contentious there.
I didn't know that. What?
Yeah, just Dr. Octopus killed her brother. Now, as Peter's life became more busy as Spider-Man, so did Betty's as a reporter. She actually became key to uncovering the identity of the Hobgoblin, but their relationship, it didn't last. It wasn't too special, but they're now still good friends.
They're good friends. He's
good at staying friends with his exes. He's known this girl since high school, Liz Allen. This relationship might sound familiar to fans who watched the spectacular Spider-Man TV show in 2008, and of course, Liz was the name of the love interest in Spider-Man Homecoming.
I'm actually watching that right now.
Oh, love that movie.
That's a great.
Love that movie.
Great TV show.
You're talking about the spectacular Spider-Man TV show.
The TV show.
Oh, because I'm also thinking about Liz from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh.
Yeah, when the twist was the Vulture was her dad.
That's true.
Yeah, that was a good twist.
That was a good twist, yeah.
I love that movie. So anyways, so in the comics, Liz was the girlfriend of Flash Thompson going back to the very beginning. She had no interest in Peter, but she grew to like Peter after he helped her pass a couple of tests in school. So Peter's natural intelligence made Liz rethink her relationship with Flash, and she grew more attracted to Peter. Now that's quite a power fantasy for people who be reading comic books. During that time, Peter was bouncing a crush on Gwen Stacy, but when Liz confessed her love to Peter on New Year's Eve, she won his heart. So anyway, Peter and Liz's romance was hot and strong until life events got in the way. Peter's life as Spider-Man ended up causing the breakup between the two high school sweethearts, and I think he lost a good one there.
I think he did.
But he would do okay as we move on to CARLIE Cooper.
CARLIE Cooper.
So after Peter and Mary Jane's marriage came to an end, Peter became romantically involved with CARLIE Cooper. Now, funny enough, it was actually Mary Jane who prompted Peter to pursue this intelligent brunette. So after a passionate kiss during a costume party, Peter and CARLIE became very serious for many months. Now, the relationship wasn't stable since Peter wasn't always around due to his superhero duties, which CARLIE didn't know anything about, of course. She just assumed it was always work coming up. So while Peter and the Fantastic Four were off fighting the Sinister Six, CARLIE almost angrily got a Green Goblin tattoo.
Really?
What would you do if you were dating some girl and you couldn't make it out for a date and she went out and got a Green Goblin tattoo to spite you?
Dump her.
Dump her fast. That's trouble right there. But she didn't get it. She almost got it.
Oh, I see.
But it wasn't enough to save the relationship. Things ended pretty quickly. And here's a fun note. In Superior Spider-Man, when Dr. Octopus took over Peter Parker's body, CARLIE was the only one who noticed and was able to figure it out.
The only girl.
The only person. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that I did not know, yeah.
Okay, next we come up, speaking of Superior Spider-Man, we're talking now about Anna Maria Marconi. So during the Superior Spider-Man story where Dr. Octopus has taken over Peter Parker's body, Doc Ock, as Peter, takes an interest in Anna, and her intelligence becomes the factor that's very intriguing to him. So they become so infatuated with each other that Dr. Octopus, as Peter, even considers proposing to her. But Peter gets his body back, as was always going to happen. And he had to break the news to Anna that, imagine if you had to say to a girlfriend, hey, for the months of our relationship, that wasn't actually me.
Yeah.
That was somebody else. That was my sworn enemy, has mind swapped me, and he's the one you were in love with. But now I'm back, so we're done.
Like he's still available, the other guy,
Yeah.
He's still available. You do want to date him.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look the same, but it's all what's inside that counts.
Exactly.
And it took the news well, and she even helped Peter get back on his feet and helped him run his business. And she even went as far as to cover for him when he has to go be Spider-Man. So that is a ride or die if there ever was one.
Exactly.
Yeah, he does pretty good in that department.
Yeah.
Okay, Cindy Moon. You know Cindy Moon?
Silk.
Silk, yes. So she was a well-kept secret for a long time. So she was there the day that he got bit by a radioactive spider. She also got bit, but the difference was that she was immediately captured by the vampire lord Morlun. Yeah, that's the whole thing that kicked off the Spider-Verse story.
But I know that she got bitten on the foot or the ankle, right? Correct?
Maybe that's why Morlun got her, because he had a foot thing.
Foot thing?
Maybe. But anyways, so when Peter found and eventually freed Cindy, she took off and was finally free. But so Peter tracked her down, and they felt the very strong urge towards each other. The pheromones were flying. No, seriously, in the comics, when Peter and Cindy found out about each other, part of the story was that Peter couldn't have a relationship with anybody else because they had this out of control urge for each other because their spider pheromones in the air was just too much for either of them to control. So a lot of getting hot and heavy. Now, they didn't get into a relationship because of Peter's very complicated life at the time and Cindy's quest to find her parents, but we're still waiting to find out more about this female web slinger, even though she's all over the comics now, and who knows, maybe we'll see her in a movie soon.
Maybe.
You think we're gonna see her in Into the Spider-Verse Part 2?
Possibly, I think so.
I think it'd be awesome.
I think it'll be good.
Now here's somebody we've almost seen in the movies a couple of times. It's Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, the girl you don't want to bring home to your Aunt May.
Dark and mysterious.
The type Spider-Man would go for, right? He's got the good girl at home, and here's this mysterious woman piquing his interest out on the town. So anyway, Spider-Man and Black Cat have like the most on and off relationship in all of Marvel. So while Black Cat brings out the ruthless and wild side of Spider-Man, his moral compass is usually what drives the two away from each other. Right, so Black Cat, she's kind of on both sides of the law. She's sometimes working for Kingpin, Venom, even Dr. Octopus while helping out with them, but then the very next thing she's making out with Peter on a city rooftop. Now she has revealed that she's in love with Spider-Man, but not the man under the mask. So it's not Peter that she loves, it's Spider-Man that she loves, which is a really interesting dynamic.
I did read that up yesterday, so yeah, she's more like into the Spider-Man when she did have that Venom suit on as well too. When he did have the Venom suit on at the time as well too. So it was more mysterious. She liked the black look as well too. But then when Spider-Man got rid of the Venom suit as well, the symbiote itself, again, that's when Black Cat still had the more interest of the Spider-Man, but never the Peter Parker.
Okay, so now we're coming up to Gwen Stacy. You know Gwen Stacy, right?
Yeah, I tried to catch her.
I see what you did there. So Gwen Stacy was Peter's first official love. It was during a fight with the Green Goblin. Gwen was thrown off the Brooklyn Bridge, and when Peter tried to catch her with his web, he accidentally snapped her neck due to the whiplash.
Yep, just like a carrot.
Now, I've actually been to the Brooklyn Bridge, and every time I'm there, I just feel the shudder knowing that happened there. Now, he did meet Gwen Stacy again, of course, because she came from another dimension as Spider-Gwen, aka Ghost Spider, aka Spider-Woman. So, what would you think if some ex-girlfriend of yours that you thought was dead, so not only am I not dead, but I'm actually from another universe, and I've got your job over here. And I can do what you do, but better.
That would be awkward. It's just like, because I know that she was bitten in this universe compared to Peter, and I remember that Peter had passed away in that universe.
Yes.
So it's having those two like spider people come together and go, oh, well, yeah, this is kind of awkward. Even though, like, I think Spider-Man at that time wasn't even dating anyone.
Well, because he swore off love.
That's true.
He was so heartbroken. But then he meets her again. He's like, hey, if she can come back, anybody can come back.
That's true. But I know that a Gwen Stacy or Ghost Spider or Spider-Woman does have that affection for Miles Morales.
Ooh, getting hot and heavy with Miles Morales. That's true, yeah, because Spider-Man, as we've gone over this list, he's got his hands full. He maybe got his heart broken when Gwen Stacy died, but it didn't take him long to rebound again and again and again. Now, finally, to the one who's maybe one of the most iconic Spider-Man love interests of them all, the one and only Mary Jane Watson. So Mary Jane and Peter Parker, would you put them in the same category as like Superman and Lois Lane?
Possibly, yes. I could see it, but I know like eventually they do break up as well too. They get back together depending on like which universe they're going into as well. Because I know at one point they did marry, right? And they did have a kid.
Yeah. And there's all these different tangent timelines where they married in one and not married in another and got a kid in another one, all this kind of thing. I'm not sure if they're on the Spider-Man Lois Lane level, only because Spider-Man's had so many love interests.
That's true.
Dude gets around. We should all be so lucky as to be Spider-Man in that department. For a guy whose life is marked by tragedy, I guess that's where the balance comes in. Also, so he's having a lot of fun despite his troubles.
I know that Spider-Man also wears a mask, but you know, like Superman doesn't, and it doesn't make sense where it's like Lois Lane is like, who are you?
But anyways, Mary Jane, she started off as a high school crush for Peter, but then she turned into his greatest love. They were on and off for a bunch of time because of Peter's life as Spider-Man, and you'd think that Mary Jane learning that Peter Parker is Spider-Man would help the relationship, but instead it became even more of a struggle for Mary Jane because now she's got to juggle her boyfriend slash husband. She's got to share him with the whole world who needs him to be Spider-Man. It's tough, man. It's tough.
It's a tough world.
Can you imagine just sitting at home, clicking the TV, and knowing that your husband's out there, like putting himself in these life-threatening, he could get mangled or killed at any second, and you're just supposed to sit there and watch Wheel of Fortune and wait for him to get back?
You will be stressed out to the max.
To say the least. So the two did eventually get married, and Peter devoted most of his time to be there for his wife and have a family together. But while Peter may have a lot of attractive women to get with, he will always come back to his one true love. That's one thing we know from the comics.
That's right.
So those are Spider-Man's most interesting romances. Which one of those do you think is the most iconic, and which one is your favorite?
I definitely would say, well, the most iconic three would be Black Cat, Felicia Hardy.
Yeah.
We got Gwen Stacy, and then we do have MJ. And I think, like, out of the three, definitely MJ is the most iconic romantic for Spider-Man and for Peter Parker, because she has the balance of both, because she loves both.
Yeah.
So that's my choice.
I think the whole thing to kill Gwen Stacy in the comics was a bold choice at the time, but the comics have to keep coming out every month, right? So years go by, and I just think it's brilliant that they figured out this way to have her back in a way that's not a cheat, and for her to be her own character and a very interesting character. Those Spider-Gwen comics are some of my personal favorites out of all of them.
I would definitely like to see Black Cat maybe in the Spider-Man 3, maybe, hopefully, maybe, or maybe in the future. Maybe you could see it in the Spider-Verses as well, too.
To all of you out there, thanks for watching. I've been Sean.
I'm Oliver.
And we are wrapping up another awesome Spider-Man video. Stay subscribed, keep notifications on so you're the first to see it every time we do an awesome new Marvel, DC video. We do them all the time. You love following our adventures. It's a lot of fun. Click the join button so you can hang out with the members that are names going across the screen, and leave a comment and let us know who's your favorite Spider-Man love interest, and we'll feature your comment in a future video. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye!
Peace.